commander's car takes centre stage. His own private lane down the entire breadth of this spine. The cart travelling extensively fast that the quills on his head began to flutter in the wind. The two guards sit down to be more stable, whilst Decimus remained firmly planted and forward-facing, occasionally waving staff and troops that greet him as they pass. The commander notes onto a pad onto his left arm, pressing the holographic buttons and relaying a message. Abatha, I'll be with you shortly after I retrieve the last member. Around the space of a minute had passed. The cart slows as it reaches its destination, the mess hall, parking at the entrance along with other carts and allowed Decimus and his escort to step off and enter. In contrast to the industrial aesthetic of every other room before, the mess hall is decorated almost like an early Gothic castle, with chairs of ornate design and cushions aligning sofas. Chandeliers light up the colossal atrium from high above. It's so large, it could be changed to a hangar to house multiple large airships. It was a busy building. Hundreds of varying races dined, all catered to their cultural and racial needs of nutrition, with many stalls throughout the middle serving the hungry patrons. All these under the command of Decimus. The commander spots a film crew interviewing a member on duty and gestured to his guards to follow him away from them. He wasn't fancying an interview today and was more focused on his current task. The press can wait for a while. He spots his target and lowers himself, slowly approaching him like a predator. The man was sat on just one of these wooden tables, adorned with candles, cup holders, and a basket of various fruits. The patrons sat next to this man noticed the commander approaching, but tried their best not to react to his presence, as if they were in on this plan. Finally, he was in with arm's reach. Decimus prepares and pounces, jolting both his hands onto the shoulders of this man, which startled him. Huh! To the laughter of the others and the two security guards, the man joins in and settles down as he notices who decided to give him the scare. Nice of you to have a good snap, Marlock, when we're about to make planetfall, wouldn't you agree? Questioned the commander, to the man who was rather similarly built to him in muscle, although he had dark reddish-brown skin and a distinct golden piece of bone standing out from his forehead and marched all the way to the back. The top of his head sporting also small ridges, and his eyebrows were reinforced by the same bone. His ears too, and down to the length of his neck, where there were 2 rows of cartilage on each side, reinforced in case of trauma to the head. It was clear that this individual has been adapted to combat. Sorry, sir. Comms broken again, replies Marlock nonchalantly, resuming his meal, a form of soup. Decimus takes a piece of bread and dips it, tasting the soaked part and admiring its taste. Okay, but coming from you, that's convenient. But I'm gonna have to ask you to come with me on this one. Marlock nods, quickly drowning down the soup and standing to attention. Both men, accompanied by the guards, walked to the exit, once again slipping past the press. No need today. As they exited the grand entrance, Decimus handed a datapad for Marlock to read along the journey. The usual job again, huh? Boring. Couldn't you get Joel to do this one instead of you? We could miss the semi-finals of Barosian L-Ball. Our team's in it, remarks Marlock in a slightly frustrated yet comical manner. Decimus let out a chuckle, remarking, "Can you just find out the results after if we do?" But that's beside the point. I need you above all else on this one. Both exit the dining hall and board the cart with the two guards. Armory. Followed the commands. The cart proceeded down the spine once again, taking a few different routes to the armory. The details for this mission are on the high end, and a man of your expertise in the Black Ops department, you'll be best to accompany me. Marlock leaned forward, seeing through the facade and clasping his hands together. Sounds a bit more than farmers are on this world, huh? You wouldn't have me if you weren't expecting trouble. Perceptive as ever you are. It's what sticks you out from my guards. Yes, what I find standing around a little depressing. No offence to you guys. Both guards shrug. No offence had been taken. Decimus leans back. You're right. The rumour has it that this world has been visited in the past. By the task force sent, hadn't reported back properly. Then they went dark a few months ago. Marlock sits up straight, his entire demeanour changed to a more focused posture. Indeed, you're not bullshitting. And for a small expeditionary force task, forced to vanish like that isn't something to scoff at. Indeed. Usually the first response would be to leave the world alone and come back with great numbers. If deemed to, that is. Sometimes we just leave them be. Clearly something else too. Marlock implies. Are you sure it's just the locals? That's what we're going to find out. We'll make planetfall in 20 minutes. The cart had arrived to the armory as the conversation ended. Marlock steps off and salutes Decimus before the cart changes course to the hangar, taking the commander and his accompaniment towards it. Marlock turns around and enters the armory through the large doors that matched the very ones connected to the bridge and the mess hall. It was vast, this armory. So vast, along with its array of weaponry, and the ranges to both test, tune and repair. The sheer amount that the grand halls have their own microclimate. It was decided to allow this to ensure the weapons would be tested under the weathered conditions of the field.